Welcome to the 14th episode of our series, The Mother Earth. In episode 11 and 12, we discussed about the interaction of the early crust of the Earth with its primeval atmosphere. We also learned that Mercury, Moon, and Mars could neither retain their atmospheres nor could they achieve the Earth-like crustal composition. The water vapor and other gases in the primeval atmosphere, as well as those spewed also by later frequent volcanic activity in the Precambrian, mostly in the Archean, were held back by the Earth's gravity of volcanic eruptions in the Archean and in the Proterozoic, relates to the more vigorous convection currents in the then low velocity zone LVZ within the Earth's upper mantle, isn't it? The lack of sustained LVZ-like layer within the mantles could not support even intermittent volcanic activity on other planets, except, of course, Venus and asteroids. Consequently, there was no lithospheric convergence and divergence during their early history compared to the vigorous movements on Earth during the Precambrian. Let's now consider yet another factor. The Earth's surface acquired neither a freezing temperature like that of Mars, nor remained exceptionally hot like that of Venus. This contrasting difference between the surface temperatures with its neighbors has been decisive in supporting flowing water on its surface. The Earth's average surface temperature has been about 13 to 14 degrees centigrade since about 10,000 years ago. In its entire geological history, it never crossed the stability limits of water. That allowed the prolonged interaction of water with the silicate-rich rocky crustal blocks which floated upwards speedily from its mantle. The short time span in which the crustal blocks floated up was, of course, also consequent to the unique event of ejection of lunar nebula from the Earth's nebula, creating vigorous turbulence in its upper mantle portion. Soon after flowing water stabilized on the surface of the Earth, say about 4 billion years ago, the weathering of surface rocks began, which consumed much of the atmospheric carbon dioxide, isn't it? It dissolved the soluble constituent elements of the decomposed minerals and precipitated them as and when they could no more be held as dissolved components. This process being the most important and integral part of what is referred to today as the exogenic rock cycle. Another factor related to the intensity of weathering process was the lithospheric movements. You know that most continents are currently located in the northern hemisphere of the Earth, but they were in different positions, say 50 million years ago or 250 million years ago, or during the Precambrian. We have learnt about the supercontinents Columbia and Rodinia of the Proterozoic, and about the two glacial epochs for which we have geological evidence. Since the lithospheric plates changed their positions more speedily during the Precambrian, the intensity of surface weathering also differed from latitude to latitude. The speedy lithospheric movements also imposed inhospitable conditions for the inception of any life forms or for their survival. We infer from the fossil record that the short and long events of mass extinctions of the Phanerozoic era were also consequent to the shifting shorelines during the phases of marine transgression and regression. In fact, the extinctions and evolutions of the more adaptive species were consequential to the lithospheric plate movements. The subduction of oceanic lithosphere raised submerged lands along with their sediments, subjecting them to compressive forces which folded them and even thrusted them over each other, resulting in what is recognized as the process of mountain building. Such a phase of turmoil would last for 100 to 200 million years and was accompanied by a series of volcanic eruptions too. Together, these interrelated or interconnected events are often referred to as an orogeny, as for example, the Caledonian orogeny or the Hercynian orogeny or the Laramide orogeny or the Himalayan orogeny with which we are more familiar. The tectonic style of deformation of rocks, the uplift and subsidence of terrains in the Precambrian do not differ much from the diastrophic and structural elements related to the Phanerozoic rock formations. We will elaborate information about orogenies, mass extinctions, and evolution of higher organisms in episodes to come, but in another series. One must, however, know that each orogeny was accompanied by large-scale volcanic eruptions. Those of the Precambrian have been now dated at 2,500 million years ago, 2,000 million years ago, 1,800 million years ago, and 1,300 million years ago. The eruptions contributed to the Earth's crust. The elements like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, iron, silicon, sodium, potassium, manganese, calcium, magnesium, vanadium, copper, and halogens, some of which were water-soluble and contributed to the Precambrian oceans. The resource for some of these elements, which are lithophile elements as you know, like silicon, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, The resource was also the Archean continental crust, which underwent fast decomposition, weathering, and erosion. If you recall the Goldsmith's geochemical classification of elements discussed in episode 5, while we discussed fractionation in meteorites, you will realize that some of these elements, grouped as lithophile, chalcophile, siderophile, and athenophile, during their fractionation behavior, are commonly biophile. Why biophile? Because some of these elements, like iron, manganese, phosphorus, sulfur, silicon, calcium, have greater solubility, and they have had greater solubility when the early crust reacted with the oxygen poor atmosphere, that is anaerobic atmosphere. Most living organisms have thrived on them because they were available as water soluble elements. I'm talking of higher organisms also in the Phanerozoic. Their water solubility was a crucial factor, as it was a function of their intrinsic properties like their ionic potential. We learned that in the last episode, that is episode 13, Tentue. These elements certainly formed the building blocks for life forms with hard parts, which appeared first around 600 million years ago, which is considered as the advent of the Cambrian period in the Phanerozoic era. The initial life forms, like the blue green algae and the cyanobacteria, faced even harder times during the two glacial epochs of the late Proterozoic era. We must not forget that the initial life forms, though vulnerable to the tectonic movements, were protected also from the harmful solar radiations by the magnetosphere enveloping the Earth. Since, of course, the fluid outer core of the Earth and its convection currents came into existence, we learnt about them in the episode 10. For their inception and survival, the essential commodities required were the sunlight, water, and the dissolved elements like magnesium, nitrogen, carbon, hydrogen, and of course, oxygen. The biogeochemical process that helped the algae and the bacteria in generating their own food and energy was not different than that operating at present in higher plants. Yes, you guessed it right. It is the photosynthesis. This biogeochemical process led to the gradual increase in oxygen level of the then anaerobic oceans and of the primeval atmosphere, depleting both simultaneously in carbon dioxide levels. Photosynthesis became gradually established during the late Proterozoic itself, and the Earth's atmosphere became gradually breathable. The bacteria and the algae that survived in the Precambrian participated in precipitating the micro layers of the banded iron formations, which occur intermittently in the Archean, that is 3.8 billion years ago, and more extensively in the early Proterozoic, that is 2.6 to 1.6 billion years ago. The banded iron formations precipitated in these two time spans form the largest source of iron ores on Earth. Globally, the Proterozoic sedimentary sequences also host extensive deposits of phosphorites, chert, and limestones, which also seem to be biogeochemically precipitated. Some of these formations reveal also the presence of stromatolitic structures formed by the bacterial and algal activity. We will discuss about these ore deposits hosted by the Archean and Proterozoic sedimentary sequences in yet another series. In this episode, which is the last of the series, The Mother Earth, the effort on my part has been to interlink all the 14 episodes, furnishing various arguments answering the question, why life only on Earth? Exobiologists will continue their research for finding some kind of primitive life on some other planet, like the Earth, in our own galaxy, the Milky Way. But at present, it seems difficult to find a planet like the Mother Earth with all its virtues enumerated in this series. Thank you.